and welcome everyone to episode 175 of One Piece at a Time, the One Piece read-through podcast where we read and discuss 5 chapters of the One Piece manga each and every week. I'm your host, Derrick, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host and freelance letterer, Brandon Bovia. How you doing, Brandon?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm, of course, freelance letterer, Brandon Bovia, and I am here... The mysteries are deepening, I think, is kind of the theme of this week, where I feel like more questions than answers right now.
Yeah, it's like things are being answered, but slowly. That's what's interesting here, is that the answers are all there. It's just Oda's almost building up a mystery, more so than anything else, rather than like have these characters outright just say things, or now like Luffy's crew knows something, but the reader doesn't, in regards to like Sanji, for example. So it's that curiosity. It's certainly a different structure. Not one that I mind, because it is giving us a hell of a look at the society that is the Minx.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that is kind of we are, of course, in classic Oda fashion, I feel like we're kind of hitting multiple storytelling objectives at the same time, kind of building out the Minx, but also, building out kind of other things we had questions about, while also just dangling that extra little bit. It is fun that you say that, though, because as of, once we hit 810, we're a little less than halfway.
Really? Oh my God.
Done with this arc. Yes.
Honestly, it almost feels like, based off that, and the fact that the villain is kind of already gone, unless they decide to show up again. This just seems like a stopgap location, in much the same way I guess Jaya is, where
very much so.
Jaya had a villain to defeat, as it were, but they weren't like a big priority. This one, the villain would be pretty high priority if they were around.
But thankfully, we don't have to deal with that right now.
Yeah.
Certainly, like, based on the things that I remember happening in this arc, and knowing that, like, well, we've got, basically like half of it left. Like, I think the next like couple weeks are we're gonna start hitting some really, really good stuff, some really, really, really cool stuff that I think makes it is certainly like a stopgap, but like there's a little bit more there for you,
right? And I'm down for that. I'm
yeah.
It has my intrigue.
To go. Yes.
that's sort of the key point there. But let's say we actually get into these chapters with chapter 806 at Right Flank Fortress. And I'm kind of embarrassed I didn't realize we were going to be taking a look at everybody again. It just felt like it was so soon that we did the Decks of the World. So I was like, it just felt too soon to do it again. But no, it makes sense after the whole 2-year gap and the new bounties and everything.
It's time skip. Yeah, and this is basically oh my goodness, when was Decks of the World was pre-time skip. So like in real life terms, this would be about 5-ish years, I think, after. Something
like that, yeah. Because I think it was right after the Paramount War. Somewhere around there. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Interesting in that whole thing, but it's fun to check in, and of course we have to start with Windmill Village, and
where it all began.
Got the Maki's bar, and I love that the Don's there now, and her whole group.
Yeah, now that we know who the Don is.
Yeah, she's just integrated with everybody now, and it's just everybody's cheering for Luffy, and of course we gotta have the mayor just be completely disappointed.
He's Luffy's greatest hater, and I love that for him. And there's the little kid who has like a Sabo hat.
Oh yeah,
or not. He's not a little kid, but
it's one of the. Yeah, I love how the Don's 2 henchmen. One has a Luffy hat, one has a Sabo hat. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
I also love. We get to see Maki's kid. No idea who the father is, but hey, there he is.
It's Shanks.
It's Shanks. That would make honestly, it wouldn't surprise me. Oh gosh, but let's get to the chapter itself, where it's another rain eruption, which I love getting the recontextualized explanation for this, where it looks like a volcano in the distance, and it's like the rain eruption. It's like, oh, geez, a volcano that shoots out water, and I was like, oh, must be boiling water or something like that because the volcano. I was like, no, it's just the elephant. It's just the elephant.
It's just the trunk.
Yeah, the trunk comes up, sprays over the water, and hang on for dear life because here it comes.
Yeah, as Robin notes, it's enough to cause a flood. You gotta head for high ground. And I love, again, like, we're seeing all of these different aspects of, like, what it truly means to live on the back of a giant elephant. And so, yeah, sometimes the weather, it's just, it just floods.
And these samurai just make me crack up because
they're so good.
They're so laissez-faire about it all. It's like oh, the shaking is harrowing. It's like keep going, cat, onward, Nekozaimon. And you see this poor cat. It's like, ugh.
Yes.
Kinemon just asks, Kandro, do you think this cat might not be better suited to the rigors of elephant climbing? It's like, not true in the least. Cats are expert tree climbers. A salient point. Just like, he's like, yeah.
And then the water starts coming down.
And of course, washes away the drawing, and down they go again.
Kinemon and Kanjuro are out here playing, like, getting over it.
And they still have this Ete monkey with them for some reason.
Oh, yeah. They have the monkey. They're just like, yep, all right. It's just like, I love it with all the other things going on. It's like the samurai are still trying to climb up.
Which, as we learn, it's kind of a good thing that the samurai are kind of hanging behind.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not so good for them to be there. But, man, it's... I love how goofy they are. They're so freaking goofy.
Yes. I feel like they've gotten goofier. I feel like Kanjuro... Well, I guess Kanjuro, we saw him, like, half bisected and farting all over the place. So maybe... Yeah. I guess he always was kind of silly. But
they've always been a little silly, but... Now that he doesn't have the fear for his son, he's able to be a little bit more laid back.
Yeah, he's got another guy from Wano with him, so they can just... they can do their comedy act.
I love it. But yeah, as we get the explanation here from our oh gosh, I'm blanking on her name.
Wanda.
Wanda, right? Wanda. Just like the rain eruption is not rain, because twice a day Zunesha, who we finally get a name for our elephant, bathes itself. Yes. So this is just the elephant taking a bath, spraying out the water.
Yep.
But
it's all seawater.
Super important because that flood was seawater, and the filtering structure at the center of the city sends it through the aqueducts and to serve as a water source. This is how they get their water. They siphon out the water, get fresh water out of it. And as Carrot points out, the water also contains fish, so they don't have to worry about food. The rain is actually a blessing to get. It's like,
yeah. Yeah, again, I feel like all these ways in which, we've kind of start from the starting point of living on the back of an elephant. We have all of these, just like these kind of little ways that the culture kind of adapts, which is, it's just like that. Whenever you get to a new location and a new culture in One Piece, I really love all this world building that Oda's able to really flesh out the setting.
Yeah, how would living on an elephant this size actually work out? How would you get food? How would you get water? All that stuff, and it's good. It's like it's especially as Oda goes on, just the worlds he builds and how they work. He seems like he keeps challenging himself, where it's more than just, this is just an island, or there's a country, that sort of thing. It's more in the realm of possibility. So yeah. But hey, Beppo shows up, and it's like, he's saying, I can't leave the forest, but let the captain know we're here, and he should come visit us. It's like, all right, I can do that. And Carrot explains that Beppo was born there, but he's a pirate, so he's currently under the purview of the Cat Viper, the boss of the forest. And I still don't know if I fully understand this, but Carrot just starts chewing on Luffy's ear.
Yeah.
Just randomly. It's just like,
either.
What?
Yeah.
it's to set up something else, but it also apparently is just quite important to their culture, as we learn later. It's an odd thing.
The other parts I understand. The biting, I'm not quite sure what's up with that. But it is to set from the rest of the crew's point of view.
Yeah. Because I am so split on Usopp.
Oh.
I feel like he is just going to be at his default as he was before the pre-time skip. It's just the way it is. It's going to be. I don't think he's ever going to fully get out of it, where he's just not going to be freaking out about, it's a flood, there are sharks. You think he'd be used to handling sharks of that caliber?
Yeah. I guess it's a little bit tricky. Because I feel like this is maybe the one where it is kind of like it's kind of pushing it a little bit, where we can kind of understand where the threats keep escalating in terms of like major villains and stuff like that, and kind of weird out of the world abilities and stuff. But I guess it is just kind of like we need somebody to be the funny man for this scene.
Yeah, and Usopp often gets the choice for that one, but
yeah, like I guess. Of all the other characters here, you wouldn't really expect them to react all that shockingly.
True. That is very true.
Yeah. That it kind of comes at the cost of feeling like his growth and development is getting stunted a little bit. That is a frustration I share.
Yeah, it's
just a little bit.
A little bit. I mean, it does serve another purpose, because it's from that angle where he's like climbed up way higher than everybody else that he's actually able to spot Luffy. Mm-hmm. So have that whole thing. But I also love the observations from Robin. One, her cute vision of what the elephant looks like as it walks and sprays itself.
Yes.
But also like, they everything's built to handle this precise water level. So this is just normal. I like how she's able. The archaeologist in her just figures it out.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, they spot Luffy, and he's just getting nibbled on by Carrot, which freaks out Usopp. Is like they're getting eaten. He's like,
eaten.
Yeah, he's like, wait, they really are. Of course, while he's freaking out and has that whole thing going on, that's when they pass by some crucifying implementations. It's like,
yes,
something that's certainly went. Something bad what happened here, and Wanda is certainly freaked out by it, and still just it's a very raw memory, and we can see the blood on it still.
Yeah. There's something, he must be here, he is not, and that is final. Hand him over, or your land will fall into ruin. And I don't understand what you mean. There's something that some people were tortured here. Even poor Luffy kind of is able to pick up on it. He has that kind of cute little face that he makes.
Yeah, where he's like, I don't know what to say in this situation. But yeah, it's that, and we'll get more of that, of course. But man, it is harrowing how that whole thing is treated.
Yes.
But the one who attacked this place, of course, was Jack. However, there was a recent news article about his death. He attacked 4 naval battleships escorting Doflamingo. Apparently, he sank 2 of the ships went down in the attempt. And he attacked a ship bearing an admiral and the former fleet admiral, and he's a man with more than a few screws loose. There was no confirmation of his death in the article, but he's most likely still alive. We'll never forgive Jack for what he did. It's like, oh God, is Fujitora okay? I assume he is, but just like...
Yeah, he seems all right.
Apparently he took down Jack, but holy crap.
Yeah. Which, it makes sense too. And we saw, from Jack's perspective of all right, of course we're doing it, There's still Flamingo ship, we got to get him back. So that makes sense that they would try to get him back.
Mm-hmm. Also, is this the first time we've seen the alligator out of the water? Because of the long legs.
He's got those dumb little legs.
I think that's what I imagine the elephant's like. Just these long, spindly legs in comparison. But Law is really good about teleportation, thanks to his dad Shaman.
No, he's just That's all he's good for right now.
Just swaps positions. Like, hey, we're back. We're here.
Yep.
And of course, Usopp trying to prop up Zoro, be like, where did she eat you, Luffy? Do you still have all your limbs? And that's our captain. You better not betray him, or you'll have to face this wrath of the three sword style. And just like,
he's propping up Zoro's arm here. But of course, I like that. Wanda's just kind of like, oh, you seem to be sorely mistaken here.
We can explain because we've arrived. Because one of them accidentally entered the whale forest without ringing the ringing of the welcoming bell. Because open up the gates and tell everyone the Straw Hat crew is here, and we finally get to see what's up with some of the other Straw Hats, where Nami is asleep on a giant lamb man.
Yes.
In some sort of super fancy dress. Yeah, and Chopper's there.
Of course, new arc, new outfit.
Yeah, that's a new outfit.
Yeah, even Chopper's he's blinged out.
He really is. He's got a whole coat on and whatnot. It's like, dang, it's he's there, and they're meeting up, and they're all set to go. And she's not being held prisoner or anything, because the sheep wakes up and is like, your companions have come. That is good, and wakes up, and they get there, and we have special guests. Prepare the feast of welcome for our savior's friends.
It's a whole party in here. And even Luffy's like, this isn't what I was expecting. Like, we kind of have I feel like there's been a little bit of like tension ratcheting up of like, are these minks kind of friend or foe? We're learning, kind of what happened here. But they rolled out the red carpet for them, basically.
Yeah, they're not used to. It's rare for us to get this sort of celebration. The last time we got a celebration like this from them arriving, I believe, was Whiskey Peak.
Yeah, and that was a trap.
Yeah, this is not a trap.
Yeah.
But Zora's just immediately like, wait, aren't you guys supposed to be human hatings? And just like a human hating species, and Wanda takes offense at that species. Like that might just be fear from those who haven't met other minks. From our perspective, you are just monkey minks with not much hair, another type of our own species. Any hatred is based on individuals. We full body minks are proud of our fur, but many admire the lesser minks and your beautiful lack of fur. And she starts licking Luffy.
Yeah. I love that we're like, yeah, we don't have racism here.
You guys are just part of us. You're just like, not just hairless for some reason, weirdos. But we don't hold it against you.
Yeah, it's cool. It's all fine. Yeah. But of course, we actually, we get a proper reunion with most of the Straw Hats here. Luffy, meeting up here with Nami and Chopper and all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cute to see who hugs who, and here's some ammunition for the shippers where Nami immediately hugs Luffy and Chopper hugs Usopp, so you can just see sort of the closest friends almost. For those type of hugs. But of course they ask us like, hey, where's Sanji, Brook, and Momo? How are they? And that's when Wanda gets like, so solemn. And we end the chapter with Nami going, like starting to cry and be like, I'm so sorry, it's Sanji. And like, what? What's Sanji?
And that's all we get for the set. We have no idea what happened.
I got nothing. I have no idea what happened to Sanji otherwise. It's like,
but it's clear that we're building to something, right? Because it keeps coming up.
Something's up with Sanji.
Between this and the wanted poster, it's like, all right.
Okay, what's up with that? And as we'll see in the next chapter, it's not exactly like, it doesn't seem to be something to really worry about, maybe, but we'll see. But you can definitely see how it really feels like for this chapter, Oda's taking his time.
Yeah. Because really, there's a lot of stuff that has to kind of get set up here. Not only like we're dealing with a lot of stuff, and Sanji, whatever happened to Sanji is just kind of like one piece of the puzzle here, pun not intended. But it really is just we're kind of having to set up for all of these different things. But Yeah, this I feel like we get a little progress on a few things, but the whole whatever happened to Sanji is just like
got nothing.
Again, I suspect that will be a next week thing, but
it has to be. You can't hold it off for that long.
Yeah, yeah.
I just can't. But but let's go ahead and get to the next chapter, 807, 10 days earlier. And time to check in on Frostmoon Village, where Zoro is quite popular.
Yeah, all the kids maybe to the chagrin of Kuina's dad.
Yeah. All the kids are doing the three sword style and have their tape over their one eye, so you have that squint.
Yes.
That's cute. That is cute.
Yeah. Don't start drinking, kids.
Mm-hmm. But fortunately, well, as we get into it, we find out that fortunately for our samurais, they might not have gotten up the elephant yet, but they still have the Sunny to hang out on. So
yeah, they're
gonna
okay.
Get the rest.
They're okay.
They're fine.
They're just, which just makes me think, based on that like montage we got last week, like this climb takes like a whole day.
Yeah, and good thing they fell into the boat, I guess. Like they're both devil fruit users. They had to like either that.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
That Ete must have saved him or something.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah, but it's a great gag.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, they're just like, drink up. We got this monkey wine, and and Zora's all excited, but it's like, I can't drink like this. Quit frolicking on me. It's like, come on,
they love the Straw Hats. Everybody's just like, they're also handsy.
Yeah, they're either like rubbing up against them, or just cuddling up to him, or nibbling on him. Like they love nibbling on Luffy. It's so like, what is happening? But they don't fully explain it.
It's just a difference in culture. I love that. That's what Wanda says. It's just like, please do your best to overlook the little differences in our cultures. Physical minctimacy is our way of expressing friendship.
And we find out that they do have meat that they eat, but they don't eat furred animals. It's tough luck scalies. They're eating hippo, lizard, alligator, frog.
There's still a hierarchy here.
Oh yeah. And then we see Brooke. Brooke is okay.
Yeah. Who's also, again, just completely dripped out.
Yeah, except for his sleeves. Yeah. His sleeves and the ends of his pants are looking a little worse for the wear.
Which we'll find out for.
I love the explanation for that. Also, it's like, not much to really worry about Sanji, because they're feasting. It's like, he's fine. We don't need to worry about going after him.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, Brooke says, I'm afraid I've lost all face.
Not that I have one anyway. Yes. But it's like, well, isn't Momo supposed to be with you? It's like, well, he is okay, but it seems like he doesn't quite like the minx. He's locked himself in his room and he won't come out, but actually that works to our advantage, as we'll learn later. So, don't worry about Momo right now. But Brooke announces, all Zo-comers gather around, and we got to huddle up. We got to explain some things before we go any further. Yeah. And where's Kinemon? He should be arriving here any moment. It's like, well, while we are here, if at all possible, try not to use the words samurai or Wano. It will hurt many of the people here and possibly earn their hatred and anger. It's like, well, why is that? And, you see, and then they have somebody announce, like, we found you, Baron Corpse. And that's when Zoro realizes, you'll find your crew's corpse as a head. It's like, oh, she was talking about Brooke.
This joke never gets old. Yes.
And it's a term of endearment.
A term of endearment, yes. And I love poor Wanda just kind of blushing here in the corner. It's just kind of like, it was a shock to me that there could be such an alluring species in the world. We dogmeeks cannot resist a good bow. And they're all just going after him. It's like the most obvious thing. Like, duh, of course the dogs would love Brooke, because it's just all bones. It's perfect. That's why he's all disheveled, because they keep gnawing on his bones. Yes.
It's amazing.
His poor limbs. Yep.
Oh gosh, but Law did not join up with the party. He's off to go meet up with his crew. And that's when Nami's like, okay, what are we going to do about Sanji? It's like, well, you have that letter thing, right? It'll work out one way or another. It's not like he's actually been abducted. And the fact
the fact that he says that is like, what happened?
Exactly. What happened to Sanji? What's going on there? And Nami's like, well, the fact that it wasn't like that is what makes it so serious. I'm like, okay, who took him? That
right, exactly.
A problem. So, apparently, Chopper's like, there's nothing we can do to save him. It's like, okay, hold on, we're kind of confused here. What's going on here? What have you guys been doing? What's been going on since you guys met up with Big Mom's ship? And I love this little panel with, like, they're all interacting in some way with the animals. I love how it's Usopp putting out his hand like this, and a dog doing like a shake, putting it in his hand.
Yeah, Frankie's eating a banana, like one of the monkeys.
There's such great visual gags.
Yes.
But yeah, it's like, okay, we thought the Minks were enemies, but we're being welcomed with open arms and labeled the companions of the Savers. Yeah, what happened in the last 11 days? So break it down for us here. It's like, okay, good idea. We'll go from the top. I'll go over everything while Brooke gets gnawed on by the dogs.
Yes,
even more so.
He just can't catch a break, man.
This is hell for him. But we learn a few things immediately. One, Capone Beige is with Big Mom. He's affiliated himself with Big Mom, which
we spotted on the ship.
That is
makes sense.
That is one of the ways that was mentioned. It's like you either join up with the four emperors or you try to overthrow them.
Try to beat one.
And Capone seems to be our first one that tried to join up. So that's interesting in himself. Of course, they're after Caesar. He's like, don't let him. Of course, gotta protect him. So like, okay, do we coup de burst? We don't have to do that without Frankie or Usopp. But we do know how to use the gown count. It's like, no, we can't face him head on. So we should probably just break free. And that's when a whole volley of cannonballs come out. So we get this nice teamwork here where Brooke freezes the cannonballs. Chopper catches them all in his monster form while
holding Caesar.
He uses Caesar as a net to catch all of the balls, tosses him up the air at Sanji, who then proceeds to use his pole de frie to light him on fire and kick them all back at the ship to do some massive damage to their starboard side. I love how even the ship's mast seems to be alive because he has like just a standard smile at one point, and he's like, "Oh no!"
Yeah. He's like singing even.
And that's when
even Nami gets on the
Nami gets the rain tempo out, brings up a mist, and they're able to get away. So they're all happy about the compliments. It's like, I guess the credit's all mine.
Not subtle.
No. And then Robin, of course, asks how many days it took you to reach Zoe. It's like, oh, we made it the next day. It seems like we're already pretty close. So this all happened 10 days ago. Robin's like, okay, the older signs of destruction seem to be just over 2 weeks ago, and that's when Wanda confirms. It's like, it's mostly destroyed then, but when Nami's group landed here that day, it was nothing short of a miracle. Without their bravery and Chopper's medical skills, every last Mink in the Mokomo Dukedom could have died without hope. And like, they really are saviors in this case. Like, everybody would have died. That's why everybody that you see is bandaged up.
Yeah, it's interesting to kind of learn the order of events here, since it's like everything that we've learned about what has happened to Zoe happened before, the Straw Hats arrived.
Even before, technically, before they even got to Dressrosa. Like, the attack here was happening before Dressrosa. The attack on the Minks happened before Luffy arrived in Dressrosa at all. So,
wow, what a kind of crazy turn of events here.
Yeah, it kind of, my best guess is it happened around the same time as Punk Hazard.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, which I guess would make sense.
Mm-hmm. But they're completely willing to explain everything, except the Duke is now awake, and that brings cause for celebration, because after what he went through, it must have been dreadful. And Chopper's ready to go check him out. Let's check to see his condition, and he already has some assistance with this Miyagi the goat, and I guess Tristan the goat and Miyagi the squirrel. I don't know.
Other way around. So Yagi is the Japanese word for goat.
Oh, of course.
I did clock Tristan, but it took me a second. So I guess if you say it, like Tristan out in Japanese phonetically, like Torisutan or whatever, Risu is the Japanese word for squirrel.
Oh, I see.
So it's kind of hidden in there.
That's fun. But I like how Chopper has these assistants now. I
guess it's funny because it's like Luffy said, like it's an island of choppers, so Chopper's kind of right at home here.
Oh yeah, it all makes sense. I love this stupid pun. I've goat to see this one. But of course, the Duke Dogstorm wants to meet with the Saviors. And Wanda's just completely relieved that he's okay.
Yep.
And we learned that he is the Duke of Mokomo Dukedom. In other words, the king of this land since the fall of the city. He's been in a deep coma. And actually, this is a land that has two kings. The king of the day is Duke Dogstorm. And the king of the night is the Cat Viper. And we get a small hint of the Cat Viper, technically, because Law finally meets up with his crew. And it's like, you came for us. And we do see that it is more than just the four guys. It's more than just those twins, Beppo. And
it's a good sized crew.
Yeah, okay. It's nice to see that he actually has more there. But they're all excited to see him. He gets a nice big hug from Beppo.
It is funny to think about that. Yeah, Law kind of went into, he was prepared to die fighting Doflamingo. So he's like, he intended to never see these guys ever again. And
I like how he's like, he even says, like, I didn't beat him. I didn't beat Doflamingo. That was Straw Hat. So,
yeah.
But 17 days ago, for the first time in a month and a half since the arrival of Beppo's group, the Mokomo Dukedom's visitor's bell rang. So that's how long ago Beppo's group have been there, a month and a half.
Yeah.
But it was not the welcoming bell that rang. It was the bell that was never meant to ring, the raiding bell. The enemy cut through the forest and invaded the peaceful city. The tremendous rumbling caused Zunesha to trumpet. So, if a vicious enemy wanted something that we do not have, how should we give it to them? And that is sort of the crux of this whole thing, where all of a sudden this mammoth shows up, is like, hand him over. I know that somewhere in this land is a warrior from Wano known as Raizo. He's supposed to be here. And that's how we end the chapter, is just like, and as we see, that question that she asked is extremely pertinent. And what the hell do you do?
Yeah, right, exactly. So, not much to be done. I forget. Actually, you know what? Never mind.
Oh, okay.
I was about to say something. I should review the information that we currently know before I say anything. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Sounds good. Of course, we're back into SBSs, and it's mostly silly ones where what does Zoro look like with his head shaved, and what does Fujitora imagine Luffy looks like? So, fun, silly things like that. But let's go ahead and move on to chapter 808, Duke Dogstorm. And time for Syrup Village, where we see the teenage boys. They look about 13.
Yeah, they're grown up, or I guess a growth spurt would be the more appropriate term.
Yeah,
and they're all crying, seeing God Usopp.
They're so happy to see God Usopp, and Kaya's looks to be a full blown doctor. Like, she looks to be doing well.
Yeah. Yeah,
So.
God, I love these so much. I love revisiting all the places we've been.
I love to just get that little sense of what Kai has been up to.
Yeah, yep.
That's nice to see. And she also is good at being normal. She's not subject to Oda's designs.
Yeah. She looks she looks normal. Thank goodness. I don't know if I could handle her being sexualized.
Be a little weird. But yeah, the as we said when we was getting to the chapter itself, it's a mammoth attack, and they're all like, they recognize it's like, what is that thing? This ancient creature doing here. And that's when the bell starts going off. You can see that the gate's been breached. They're under attack by pirates. And I believe that's is that the guy the one that's saying enemy attack? Is that the one that fell down with the?
I believe so.
Yeah, I was gonna say fell down with the samurai, Kinemon and Kanjuro. So, we get our look at the pirates, which includes a giant mammoth. And they're like, warrior from Wano, Raizo. We've never heard of him. It's like, all right, don't destroy this country. Just get out of here. It's like, and then that's when this familiar looking guy from when we saw that little flash of Nami and Sanji and all of them dealing with everything pops up. It's like, I remember the stories about the land of the minks, a bunch of stupid talking animals. It's like, all right, who are you? And no,
here we get an introduction.
You're demanding an introduction. This here is a trusted confidant of Kaido, one of the 4 emperors of the sea, one of his 3 closest associates, each of whom is named after a disaster. This is the great Jack the Drought. And just, it's interesting. We have the Animal Kingdom Pirates lead performer, captain of the Mammoth, Jack the Drought. So is that Kaido's whole thing? Is Kaido the Animal Kingdom Pirates? I don't know. Or does Jack have his own sort of subdivision that's called the Animal Kingdom Pirates?
I'm not sure if I should answer that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's pertinent or not, but it's interesting.
No, it's not pertinent. It's Kaido's crew. Kaido's crew is called the Animal Kingdom Pirates. I thought about it for a second. I was like, no, that's not really. That's not something that.
See, that's interesting. It's time once again for Oda to show that I'm blanking on the third type of the devil fruit.
Oh, the Zoan.
Yeah, Zoan. Time to show that Zoan fruits have their powers, are just as strong as the others.
This makes sense though, right? Because we know that Kaido was getting the smile fruits from Doflamingo. And we know that smile fruits are specifically artificial zones.
Yes.
So it makes sense that Kaido, I guess, not only would have a bunch of artificial zones. I don't know if Jack's devil fruit is artificial or not, but the fact that his crew is animal themed is kind of like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, he definitely he has a whole idea behind him. I mean, that's kind of exciting. I'm curious because the last time we really had Zoans as the main enemies was CP9.
Yeah, definitely. And this is, I guess, kind of the first time that we have them like as pirates.
Yeah.
And it's cool too that at least according to Sheep's Head, like Jack is one of the big 3. Yeah,
he is. Like,
so this
is
immediately
actually one of the biggest deals of Kaido's whole crew, and that's that's something.
And we see it,
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, he's Jack the Drought because the lands that Jack passes through become as barren and decrepit as if they've been hit by a drought. So hand over Raizo. You got a nice peaceful place here with your babies and your arms and all. It'd be a real shame if something happened to him, don't you think? Or would you rather fight us? And that's when Manji, the monkey man, comes out here. Is like, we don't wish for battle, but we will not find a solution to this issue if you do not listen. Jack, you said your name was? No lies from us. If you seek a man, search each and every home. And doesn't even get to finish. It's just like, there's nobody here. Like, you feel free to search, but there's no man here. And Jack's like, no, I don't care. Bam! Just
right. A full big spread.
just starts wreaking havoc.
Just as an aside, I really like, I guess, like, the designs of, like, the general, like, look of Kaido's crew. Since we're kind of seeing them in action. Like, they look very much, I don't know, they look kind of punkish, you know?
Yeah.
Like Sheep's Head, like, he has, like a wrestling belt.
Yeah, he does. I love the design of Jack as a mammoth. It is so...
Yes.
It is intimidating. And the sunken eyes, like, it is...
It's kind of ironic that we're on a giant elephant.
Yeah, very much so. But it's also one of those things where we're going from a very calculating, deceptive, crafty villain like Doflamingo to Jack, who is just power incarnate.
Raw power, yeah. Like
there's nothing deep about this guy whatsoever. He is just carnage.
Yeah, he wants a thing and he's here to get it, and he doesn't care how much, destruction and death he's going to cause until he gets it. And he's well, I love that the girl that we saw earlier, apparently her name is Jin Rummy. So
okay.
She just both types of alcohol.
And
he asks her if we come to bargain. It's like, no, we came to seize a samurai.
It's like, no, Raizo's a ninja. It's like, oh, samurai is just a general title for all warriors of Wano. There's no difference. And
okay, so I wasn't sure about it before at the end of last chapter, because I wasn't sure if they had name dropped him. So Raizo's the guy that Kinemon and them are looking for too.
Yes,
right?
they did mention that. I was going to get to that because Luffy mentions it at one point during this, but yeah, that's just to reiterate. But yeah, that's why Kinemon and Kanjuro both wanted to come to Zou, is to meet their friend Raizo. Why is Kaido after Raizo? That leads to that question. And what is going on with Kinemon's whole group? That's definitely a big question there.
Not only is he after Raizo, but I mean, like, Doflamingo did have his eyes on Momonosuke and Kinemon too, right? Like,
that is true.
Yeah, like it seems like
and they were hunting after Kanjuro.
Like yeah. So it's like, clearly there's something about the samurai here.
And I am. It definitely feels like one of those mysteries that's just going to be going on for a while. Like, who knows if we'll actually learn what that is? Because, again, I know that Whole Cake does not deal with Kaido, so I don't know if we learn Kaido's motivations at this point. It is fascinating to me how intertwined Kaido and Big Mom seem to be. Much more so than I ever would have imagined.
I guess it's a good observation, because I feel like when you sort of hear kind of just offhand, you're kind of like, okay, so after Dressrosa they do the Big Mom thing and then they do the Kaido thing, but like, no, it is not so siloed, I guess. Like, we have really at this point kind of these multiple plot points running at once that seem to kind of weave in and out of relevancy to one Big Mom or to Kaido, which I guess is funny, since that we have 4 emperors, and certainly we seem, the plot seems to be focusing on these 2 specifically, and not so much Blackbeard, and certainly not whatever the hell Shanks is doing.
God knows what Shanks is up to. The only thing we've seen Shanks do is drink, have a hangover, and try to prevent Whitebeard from doing something stupid.
Yeah, he stopped the war. That was the thing. That was the last thing he did, and he's like, all right, I'm gone.
But yeah, Jack puts out, it's like, I have but one demand: bring Raizo to me. It's like, that's impossible. We told you he's not here. Then search the entire country, pleasures, and that's the name of his men. And they just start trying to go ham. But that's when the animals reveal, there are no weak members of us. All minks are natural-born fighters. Even our suckling babes have the gift of self-defense. And like, we're here to fight.
This little fox kid, it's taking like a kung fu pose. It's like, oh yeah, no, that's great. I still don't know what that because even Monji is doing like that kind of zappy zap thing.
Yeah, I don't. They have not explained that yet. They have some sort of electricity to them.
Does that get explained? Now I'm kind of like, what is that? Also, I was gonna explain this earlier, but G as a suffix is like old man in Japanese, so of course, it's like and
old
he's,
monkey.
he's got this big yeah, basically.
Of course.
He's a little cranky Kong looking.
A little bit. But yeah, it's like, do you really want to make enemies of every mink in this land? And the skill of the musketeers that defies all description. Fight, and the losses shall be deep on both sides. If you seek this man, then why not speak with the Duke of this land instead? And Jack, there's like, and again, Jack is extremely simple. Speak?
Yep.
No. He has no interest in that. He is there for destruction. And apparently he has another set of his crew called the Gifters. So the Pleasures and the Gifters. I don't know what the point of those differences are. But we can definitely see...
There is an explanation. We will get there at some point.
The only thing I noticed is that the Pleasures seem to be a bit more wild in design, more traditional pirate, from what I can tell. The Gifters all have horns. And one dude has a lot of big old ears. So I wonder if these guys might be sort of using the fake devil fruit.
Yeah, well, one guy's just got like crab claws.
Yeah, that too. So, I think that might be where we're getting to see the effects of our smile and how they're kind of maybe incomplete, potentially.
Yeah. Yeah, God, that's interesting too, right? That this concept of sort of the fake devil fruits we've heard of so much but hadn't really seen in action.
Again, the fact that all this was set up in Punk Hazard, just to keep things moving forward.
It just keeps building and building and building.
They might not be, they might have their issues, but God knows they have their place. Like, they're not pointless. But Usopp's immediately like, they basically break it down. It's like, nope, they didn't listen. Battle began, and in an instant, the peaceful corral city turned into a battlefield. And it's like, okay, so it's Kaido's men. It's like, how did they get here, and why they thought there would be a samurai is a mystery. And Luffy's just excited. It's like, ooh, a mammoth.
Right.
And this is when Luffy makes the mistake, is like, because Brook is like, see, this is why we don't want to mention Samurai or Wano. I was like, oh yeah, good point. They're very bad people. It's like, oh, darn. That Ninja Kinemon talked about isn't here after all? What a letdown. And they're just like...
Yes, you get those great reaction faces from Usopp, Brook, and Nami, and then they're just beating up on Luffy in the
crap out of him. And of course, Wanda's like, wait, do you guys mean a warrior of Wano? How do you know about him? It's like, no. He said injured. He was inquiring about the state of the injured. It's like, oh no,
great
it's just up here. You're fine.
Yeah.
And that's when we go up there, and outside where this is, we see the sanatorium where a bunch of animals are getting tossed aside as we see, we hear about this Sir Sicilian, and we see this lion with a curly mustache, and it's like, they're talking such sugary nonsense that I had to knock these cubs off their feet to teach them a lesson. Kindness, love, romance, babies, sugar, honey. Never speak of such things around me unless they're full of salt.
He's so tough, but so cool.
He's like, he basically, I love how his whole thing is, he's not a jerk. He just does everything with all of his might. Even his like bowing before them for saving them.
Yeah.
That would never be forgotten.
Also, of course, he is a lion mink. Shishi is a Japanese word for lion.
Of course.
Sicilian. And I love his design.
Yeah, it's a good design. Honestly, it is. You can't help but have it be somewhat reminiscent of blanking on his name from Moria's crew.
Oh God.
Pervert.
Oh God. Yeah, the pervert guy. No, sorry, it's blanking. It's
nope,
gone.
I got nothing. I erased him from my memory.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has a little bit of that sense, but obviously cooler.
Yeah, way cooler.
Mm-hmm. But they get inside, and we get to meet Duke Dogstorm, who is very much bandaged up, and Wanda immediately glomps him.
Yes, I love his. I love the glasses though. He's got kind of like like old man energy.
Yeah, he has a pretty sick look to him. Kind of a beagle.
Yeah, very much like a beagle, and he's huge.
Yeah,
Wanda's like, he's trying to glomp him, but it's just she's so tiny in comparison.
Just dwarfs everyone. And Luffy immediately says he thanks him, and Luffy's like, apparently my friends helped you guys, but I haven't heard the details yet. It's like, no, it was thanks to you too, Straw Hat Luffy. He's like, and Luffy's just like, I bet you're pretty tough, real tough. Is like, Wanda's like, how rude. His Grace is the greatest fighter in our land. Is like, that sounds like sarcasm when spoken about the loser. Is like, no, the enemy is quite troublesome, but you held the advantage. If only Jack Khan brought that weapon into our land. Is like, what's that? What's that about a weapon? It's like, oh yeah, the thing that destroyed this dukedom was one of Caesar's gas weapons.
Oh no.
Freaking Caesar.
Yeah. And now I feel like we can kind of understand like why it is, thanks to the help of Chopper and his expertise, that was able to maybe literally saved lives.
Yeah.
But I think what I really like about this section is that like we're seeing some really wide ranging like consequences, right? Like there's a lot of cause and effect happening here.
Yeah, that's. Everything affects itself. Nothing's ever just on its own. There's always something affecting something else, and it makes you want to see those knock-on effects.
Yeah, very much so.
But let's go ahead and get more details with Chapter 809, The Cat Viper. And this is a sick-ass cover.
This color spread is so good.
Like...
It looks like an album cover.
It really does. Honestly, this might be Brooks' best look. Like, he is...
really, really might be.
Just boss as hell. Like, the fact that he's smoking the cigarette and the smoke's coming out of his eye holes, that's great.
Yep.
That's
extremely cool.
Good.
Everybody with sunglasses. I love Frankie just taking a big old swig of cola.
That's good. Nami looks the most, like, unnatural in it, I think.
Robin.
Oh, no, yeah, Nami. Sorry, Robin. Like, it works, but for whatever reason, it's just almost a little... The pose isn't good enough. I like to really emphasize it for me. Luffy's is pretty good. Honestly, Luffy's just... It's like, what if Lol and Luffy did a fusion dance?
Exactly, right. Yeah, like, he's got the tattoos and the... Oh, man. No, this is a good one. This is a really, really good one.
Do you notice the record Brooke is holding?
What does it say? Oh!
Binks of liquor.
Yeah, there is Binks Brew.
Yeah, Binks Brew hanging out. That's
sick.
That's I love those little instances there.
Yep.
But love that color spread. But yeah, it's like everybody's shocked. It's like Caesar's gas weapon, and Brooke has a little shock face. It's like, oh no, drool. It's like, what a delicious looking savior. It's like, wait until later. No, not later.
You're still
either.
recovering now. Yeah, I love that both, like both Wanda and Dogstorm, they're trying to restrain themselves, but they just can't help it.
So yeah, as Robin points out, Caesar made the weapon, Doflamingo sold it, and it's made its way up to Kaido. And we don't actually know what happened to Caesar yet.
Oh, yeah, we don't.
As well. But turns out that Dogstorm knows Shanks.
Yeah.
Because it fits. The Straw Hat fits Luffy very well. He says, "It's like long ago, I and Cat Viper, him, went out to sea and met a man wearing such a hat. He's now one of the 4 emperors." It's like, that's cool. It's like, I'm holding on to this hat. And he's trying to go his backstory. And he just falls asleep.
Oh yeah, of course, yes, of course.
Which is really funny to have somebody do that to Luffy instead of him doing it to them.
Yes, instead of the other way around. But yeah, it turns out, Dogstorm and the Cat Viper have been around, as it turns out.
Yeah. And it's like it's past 6 o'clock. It's like, yeah, it's only 6. What is he, a kid? He's like, no. As I said earlier, The dukedom is ruled over by 2 kings at all times. The official sovereign is Duke Dogstorm, but Cat Viper is charged with protecting the Whale Forest over the generations and possesses equal authority. So why does he fall asleep? The two are on bad terms.
Cats and dogs, cats and dogs.
Yeah, fighting like cats and dogs. That's just how it goes. If they actually meet, they might actually end up fighting to the death. So not so good.
Jesus.
Don't know why it's like that, but we do know that they're equals in strength. So
yeah. I love this. The breakdown from Wanda is like their bickering is so bitter they choose not to ever see each other. So they quite literally they rule Zoe in shifts from 6 to 6.
Gotta love it. And even the doctors are asleep, as though like everybody sort of follows their biorhythms.
Yeah.
Where the nocturnal and daylight animals are this just that's when they sleep and that's when they go. But yeah. But yeah, they oh gosh, Shishilian falls asleep, and that's when we go back to the flashback of the attack, and the musketeers arriving to help out the townsfolk, and get to see more of Sheepshead and how he has like a scorpion arm.
Yeah.
So that's pretty wicked. But yeah, let's minimize damage, focus on seizing their weapons. Let's get in there, and it's very strange warriors, but watch out for the ones with the black horns, because something's up with them. And they are the black horns definitely seem to be ones that are affected by if I had to guess, the fake devil fruit, because this dude transforms his hand into a wolf's head.
Yes. Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, because it's like it definitely feels very much like if this is Smile, it is like imperfected, and that like you can't like change your body. It's just like parts change into other parts, and it's just it's craziness.
Mm-hmm. And I like that we see here that Wanda is strong enough to be part of the Musketeers, so she is a step up from normal villagers. Yeah, that works. But of course, we have to have our 3 Musketeers, the main force here. Zebra, Shishilian, and some kind of crazy looking fox dude.
Yeah.
I love these designs.
Yeah, no, these designs are so. I love just like the musketeer look to them is so good.
Oda loves drawing animals, and this very much feels like the Moria's. Why am I blanking on the arc's name? Moria's arc. Thriller Bark. But very much like Thriller Bark, where he gets just an excuse to draw weird animals.
Yes, yeah, very. That is definitely the vibe I get. Mm-hmm. We even see kind of Dogstorm in action, and he's his might be my favorite.
Oh yeah, he looks awesome, and he's basically just calling out as like, stop this destruction and violence at once. As God is my witness, the man you seek is not in this land. This battle is meaningless. And God, the way Oda focuses it on Jack every time, just of that shadowed eye. You get the sense that he's just unhinged.
Yeah, very much so. And even like God, just seeing Dogstorm just like drop his sword, and he's just kind of like stretches out his paws, I guess, and he says, search this island. The samurai that you seek. We will not resist. Just stop the destruction. And that and that again, even from their perspective, like this is a place with a long history. God, what was it like? Over 1,000 years, basically.
Yeah.
And even at this point, it even feels like it is about finding Raizo, but like Jack is just like he cannot be reasoned with.
No, he cannot. Like he just immediately refuses and attacks him. And this sold me on Dogstorm so hard that you flip the page, dude. And he just easily stops Jack's trunk.
Which one? As we learn from one of the other goons on the next page, is kind of there's not a soul who in the New World doesn't know about our boss, the Great Master Jack. His bounty is 1 billion berries. 1 billion.
1 billion for a minion of Kaido.
Yes. And that dog storm just stopped him right in his tracks, I think is extremely hype.
It is so cool. Holy crap.
So we're definitely getting into that
Oda being a liar like that the bounty stopped happening after 500 million.
yeah. For one, Jinbei, shut your mouth. You're wrong. But also like the berry values are starting to,
like, what Luffy a massive climb! Doubles Luffy's current, and it's not even Kaido himself.
Yes, yeah. This is just one of someone one of the big three, one of his top three, but still, and. Yeah, God, yeah. We haven't even gotten into like the emperors or anything like that. We don't know what their bounties are like.
No,
so.
Oh my God.
Good God.
And just like you can see though, it does take a bit out of like he's breathing heavy after stopping that attack. So it's not he's able to do it, but I don't think he has the stamina to really go toe to toe.
Certainly.
And it's like you have the wrong idea. If the samurai is here. Jack just says, if the samurai is here, we stop attacking. If he's not, it's a crime. And it's like, oh God, he's insane.
Exactly.
Because he just immediately says, oh, I also enjoy destruction. And let the fighting get underway. Because just constant fights, the rain happening, get the shocks, just all this.
It's a full-on war.
Yeah. It is a big old battle. Until 6 p.m. when the Cat Viper wakes up and he's like, oh, the Night Idiot is awake now. So pull back, Musketeers. We're not going to fight together. He's like, no. Actually, switching out is to our benefit. The enemy will not have time to rest through the day or night. However, we do. So let the nocturnal animals fight and the Cat Viper's men. And that's when Dogstorm says, hey, Jack, don't believe that you're the only one stubborn man who refuses to listen. In every nation, there are fools to be found. And that's when Cat Viper shows up looking like a friggin' demented cat from Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, I think that's very much the
Cheshire Cat,
here.
That's it.
Yeah, Cheshire Cat. Yeah, and I love, I also love, he's also huge.
Yeah. Oh, God. The moon is out, this land is mine. The intruders will not escape, and these are the guardians. And, he immediately goes for him. You won't leave this place alive. And he grabs hold of Jack's trunk, flips over the front of him, and slams him down back first into a building. It's like, holy
no, dude,
crap.
These guys are legit.
Yeah.
Dogstorm and Cat Viper, they got hands.
Yes. They're taking on a billion berry bounty. That's amazing.
Yep. That's so good. And I love his speech here at the end of the chapter where he's just kind of like, you're looking for a warrior of Wano. I wouldn't let a samurai take a single step on this island, and if one tried, I'd chew him to pieces. I am the Cat Viper, the one who waits for the dawn of the world.
And that's when Master Jack, we end the chapter with him transforming back into his human form.
Yeah. It really, as we kind of know how this is all going now, but like if it weren't for, Caesar's gas weapons, like we're not going to go down without a fight.
Oh no, this was they said there were going to be countless losses on both sides, and we can see that. Like, this is not like some helpless country. These guys were ready to throw down, and it makes the invasion all that more thrilling. And like you root for them in a big way, and it's just like it sucks that they weren't able to go toe to toe with these guys. But the fact that the Minx can stand up to one of Kaido's generals. Holy crap. The sheer power level.
Yep.
Oh, gosh. We do have an SBS where somebody's a bit newer. Is like, okay, I'm having a bit of trouble understanding the layout of the new world, of the One Piece, the New World, the East Blue, Red Line. I don't get where the heck these things are in relation to each other. And Oda's like, okay, we have a new guide to the world of One Piece at the end of the book, so check it out. And I hope that actually shows up when we get to the end of this volume.
I would like to see that,
because I want to see if it's been updated at all, or how he breaks it down a bit more this time around.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel like it just kind of comes down to the Red Line and the Grand Line cut the world into 4 oceans.
Yeah, it's still that basic idea, but
yeah. I mean, I feel like it's a hard thing for people to understand too, that like the entire story of One Piece, you know, from the Grand Line onwards basically takes place in the equator.
Yeah, it is. It is the thinnest portion of the world.
yes. There is so much more to this world than, which is just, I feel like Oda knows how to, he knows how to get you with that, right? To really imply a much wider world out there. I really just as like as a reader, I feel like I want to know more about the Red Line as this giant continent that like seemingly only has like one tiny little city of a bunch of like rich jerks on it.
Yeah,
so it's just like,
I wonder if we'll get any history on that. I would be fascinated.
Yeah.
The next question is, hey, I'm curious about the names of the doctor begging for help, the little granddaughter, and the grandma who told her to run. What's their whole thing? And we get Dr. Need a Hand, the elderly woman Stella Live, and the granddaughter Stay Alive.
Is this Ace Attorney? What are we doing here?
I love those pun names.
Yeah, that's great.
And then we get a better look at the signatures of the the 5 crew members for Bartolomeo, which we saw most of them, but we get a few more details where Usopp is like, to Bartolomeo, a profile of his own head, and then give him a profile of Usopp's head and Usopp. And Frankie's is, to my bro, star symbol, Frankie. And Robin's is just Nico Robin with a random drawing of a rooster. Oh, because he's a rooster. I was like, because she calls him Rooster.
Yes.
That's funny. Oh, goodness. Well, let's go ahead and get to our final chapter for the set. 810, the Twirly Hat Crew arrives. And time to see what the Baratie is like. It's like,
I love
lots
this
of
one.
questions, but at least he's healthy. He's like, okay, why is he seemingly naked and running with hard eyes? And I think it makes I forget the guy who always hangs out with Patty. Why he's upset about it because it's ruining his Sanji face restaurant.
Yes. That they put they made the face into the old Wanted poster is so good. that's the that feels exactly like in character for them. Like that's the kind of thing the Baratie crew would do.
Yeah. Oh, it's brilliant.
I'm sure Zeph is also curious why his Wanted poster only says only alive, but you know.
Yeah. That is very curious. But we get into the chapter itself, and we finally get a full look at Jack. And
he's got pigtails.
Boy, yeah, he has pigtails. You can see the like he definitely has his horn motif down, and the mask absolutely like this dude feels threatening. It's been a while since we've seen a character design that just screams, yeah, don't mess with this dude.
Don't mess with this dude. He's kind of, I guess, with the mask, he kind of reminds me of Morgan. I guess if he was,
oh yeah,
maybe just a teensy bit stronger. And again, also just like I love that we see that just straight up the title card, 1 billion berry bounty, and much like everybody else here, he's massive.
It's a good one. I'm trying to think of the last time I looked at designers like this guy just looks truly threatening, and I think it actually was Whitebeard.
I think kind of on that level, and I feel like because we saw, I guess it was a while when we saw Whitebeard initially, and he was like hooked up to IVs and crap, but once Marineford started and he showed off his double fruit, and you're like, oh god. And now it feels similar to that now that again we are seeing just like a tiny little piece of Kaido's crew, and we're just kind of like, oh, this is what we're working with, like this kind of almost like Mad Max level stuff here. Yeah, and definitely, certainly a far cry from not only like Doflamingo and his crew, it really just like anything up we've seen in the time skip so far. Like nothing on Hodie's crew, certainly not Caesar. Like nothing was really quite this, like this guy is just large and in charge. Yeah.
And Cat Viper immediately clocks us like, an ancient model of the Elef fruit. So they got a real rare power. And God, the way Jack just, I think he takes one of his tusk off that was hanging down, and takes off like a sheath, like a cloth sheath from it, revealing a friggin' like scythe.
Yeah, this is a scene I want to see how this works like visually in the anime, because I can't quite make sense of it, but it's certainly intimidating.
Oh yeah, it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
And Cat Viper's just like, you should have just pulled back and cut your losses while the dog fella was going easy on you. And
dude, I love Cat Viper. He just talks smack like ever since he got here.
He's great.
He's not intimidated.
And he immediately calls out the Law's crew, is like, Beppo, you're still under my care. Don't bother with fighting. It's like, no, boss. I might be pirate, but this will always be my hometown. And for us, this is our friend's hometown. Well, you talk like a man. And
heck yeah.
Law's crew joins in on the fight. That's awesome.
Yep.
That's good stuff. But yeah, it's just a full-on fight between these two, and it is... wow. As they say, the battle continued day and night for 5 whole days. I think the reason they've just had trouble, though, is that Jack's reinforcements just kept arriving by sea.
Yeah. It's funny that they say they're like an unstoppable zombie army, This is what Mori was trying to do to fight Kaido.
Yeah, who knew? But hey, they were slowly, surely, steadily overcoming them. But the only place they really couldn't break him down was Jack. He would not go down. And I love how Luffy's just hanging out on Dogstorm's chest.
He's sleeping.
And he's like, "Whew, so this guy couldn't beat him, and that's just an underling of Kaido? Wow."
Yeah. Yeah, but it was also true that, Jack wasn't able to overcome, both Dogstorm and Cat Vipers, the two kings.
Mm-hmm. And that's why on the 5th day, he brought out a weapon, a poison gas weapon, and it only took a second for the killer gas to spread through the land with the force of a blast. And what could you do to evade? The gas swallowed all of the city and half the forest, completely immobilized them, and virtually everyone aside from those evacuated inside this fortress were wiped out. And that's when it got gruesome.
Yes, yeah, that's where the torture starts coming in.
Oh yeah, it's just like going man to man. Where's the warrior from the Wano? Not here. Stick him, stab him, good
one
God.
by one.
And God, it is true, just horror for Wanda. It was like they kept repeating questions that they knew the answer to as they brought our land to ruin, one mink at a time. And the mighty were crucified and subjected to torture, and that's the blood on those crucifixes that we saw before. We wouldn't hide them. Stop hurting the people of this land who know nothing. This is sheer cruelty, nothing more. And Cat Viper I'm going to remember you after death, Jackie. Until the day. Still talking smack.
Like Doflamingo.
But the slaughter continued for an entire day, and on the sixth, they'd either had their fill of destruction or they grew tired of hearing the same answer. Jack left behind a few dozen men and departed this place, and just it felt hopeless, but there was hope as they were saved in the end. We learned this fact when we read Jack's obituary in the paper. For the day that Jack left our land at last was the very day Luffy defeated Doflamingo. Jack left in order to rescue Doflamingo from captivity, and there's some kind of connection there. Obviously, I think he just wants to hand over Doflamingo for messing up.
Gotta get his client back.
Yep. But the ones who truly drove the monster from our home were all of you. So
and again, talking about that cause and effect.
Yep. And the day after that was when Sanji's group arrived, and I love how they climbed. They used freaking
A Caesar.
Caesar. God, there's so many names flying around. It's one of those.
There's so many names. But I do love this this running gag of just using Caesar for everything. I love he's just kind of like, you will rue this day.
Being mistreated constantly, which he deserves.
Yes, absolutely.
And this is when that whole thing went down, where they found Sheep's Head getting running after them, and them. Like, oh, these guys look like bad guys. We should take care of them. So
yeah.
They took care of all the remainders and saw what happened. They're like, okay, we gotta help him out. So that's if it really wasn't for Chopper and the rest of the crew, they would have been in trouble. And I love how Chopper sees them crucified, be like, an animal that can speak. It's like, well, look who's talking. Oh gosh.
I know it's serious, but like the little football element on Chopper is just so cute.
Mm-hmm. But it was, it basically is just like, you have to see to Dogstorm and Cat Viper before they die, and we see they got messed up. Dogstorm lost a leg, Cat Viper lost a hand, an arm. Just holy crap.
Yeah, the last line from Pedro here is really interesting, where he says that the world awaits them, they must be saved, they must not die under any circumstances. And that's how we end the set. So
I wonder if that has to do with it. My immediate thought on that one is like the world awaits them. I feel like this has to do with the Reverie. That'd be my guess. Is that maybe since they're leaders that they'll show up to the Reverie.
Yeah, I guess that's interesting because I guess like Zoe probably isn't recognized by the world government. If I had to throw out a guess, so that makes me wonder about that.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know.
But maybe that's something that they would want.
True.
Yeah.
But
so
it is like, again, One Piece stepping into that dark territory.
Right. Yeah. No, we just straight
tortured,
up
death,
we had like
killing, gas.
Right. Like, this is a fun little arc about anthropomorphic characters. You know, look at all these furries running around. It's like, oh no, they're getting messed up. This is, like, we witnessed a war. Like, this is kind of our first time seeing Kaido's crew in action, and it is, it's brutal.
Yeah, and they are not one to take lightly. Like, this is the power of an emperor.
Yeah, no, we're really getting into that stuff again. We're done with the warlords. We're really starting to unpack what the deal is with at least two of the emperors here. So there's a lot going on.
It makes me curious about Big Mom's crew, like, because so far they've come across as a bit more silly than Kaido.
Yeah, and now that we learned this week that Beej is working with them too, so it's like, okay, what's that about?
Yeah,
sort of like the vibes are maybe a little mismatched, maybe
a bit. It's one of those things where, obviously, this is a lot of setup chapter, but it's setup stuff, and there's still a lot of questions remaining. But it's still interesting to see how the story is unfolding, and it in a lot of ways it feels less as a primer, a prologue to Whole Cake, and more of a prologue to Wano.
Wano, yeah. What if I told you it's a little bit of both?
That wouldn't surprise me. That would not surprise me at the least. Yeah,
I guess so. Yeah, because we're we don't know why, but like this thing about Kaido and Doflamingo really like hunting down the samurai is like, that is a thing that keeps cropping up. So
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm so curious.
Again, we're maybe not quite halfway. I don't know how the exact number will shake out, if it'll be like 2 more episodes or 3, but kind of in that 2 or 3 territory, I think. So the fact that we still have so many more questions to be answered, and so much more, like, the things are falling into place, but I think this was a good set to kind of set the table.
Yeah,
just
It-
with
that-
a lot
that's
of death and
definitely what it
destruction.
was. Like, we're getting a bit of the
Yeah.
culture, we're getting a bit of the backstory, what happened with them. All of a sudden, you don't have to worry about like how they're surviving for those days. It's like, oh no, they basically been saving this country well in the
Right, yeah,
span of
yeah.
like, in the time that's passed. So
Yeah, and it's like we got the Straw Hats reunited minus one Sanji.
yeah, and we're still
Yeah,
missing like
so-
what happened to Caesar.
Yep.
It's an interesting set of questions.
Yeah. For sure.
So we'll see. We will see.
There's more Zoe to be had.
Oh, yes. But with that, I believe we've said all we've wanted to say about chapters 806 to 810 of One Piece. Thank you so much for listening, and you can find more of my ramblings and stream VODs over at BitNerd Games on YouTube or simply BitNerd on BlueSky. And Brandon, where can everyone find you at?
I am Brandon Bovia on Twitter and BlueSky, talking about anime, manga, games, and my job. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I've been playing a lot of Switch too. It's great.
It's good. It is a good thing. I've not had a chance to play as much, but what I've played, I really enjoy. So,
Heck yeah.
time to bring One Piece over that. Time for a new
Yeah.
One Piece game.
Please, a good one, please.
If only. Of course, if you'd like to help us out more, you can support the podcast over at patreon.com/Derrick Bittner. That's DerrickBitner to listen to the next episode ad-free 3 days early, as well as patron-exclusive bonus episodes. And the latest one, we actually discussed our memories of the 4Kids anime. So,
Yep, we sure did.
oh boy, did we. That's
Yeah.
just, that's...
Yeah, I mean, as we continue to shill the Patreon every week, if I feel like if you jump in there now, like there's hours of bonus discussions and bonus content of just all manner of subjects related to One Piece. So
we are up to 15 Q&As and 15 bonus episodes. So
good God, we should tally up just like how much that is in terms of time.
it's a lot.
I feel like not to get like too into the weeds, like I feel like there may be like a third as long as our typical episodes typically,
Yeah,
right?
we typically go about 30 to 45 minutes, depending.
Yeah, so I feel like, it's like getting a good solid handful of like extra episodes.
For sure. So
Yeah.
keep an eye out for those, and make sure to return next time as we discuss chapters 811 to 815 of One Piece. So until then, my friends, bye.
Remember to take life one piece at a time.
He's an insane monster.
And one more thing. I revel in destruction.